Delmarva Peninsula is chock full of tiny towns tucked along the back roads in the middle of nowhere. They look like places where nothing ever happens and nothing ever changes.
Au contraire. More often than not, our tiny towns are full of interesting stories. And that's why Jim Duffy of Secrets of the Eastern Shore joins us on this Throwback Thursday with a case in point. He is carrying a six-pack of tidbits about a town known as Claiborne.
Claiborne. Let me open mine.
Six-pack. So it's the start of something big.
It was supposed to be the start. Have you been to Claiborne?
I don't think so.
So Claiborne, it's beyond St. Michael's, off on a little road. Like 140 people live there today.
Okay.
But it wasn't supposed to be like that. When they first planned it in the 1870s, they laid out a plan for 200 houses on 8 streets with this big square, and they came up with a marketing slogan. Let's see what you think. You know that phrase, go west, young man? Mm-hmm. Their marketing slogan was, young man, don't go west, go to Claiborne.
Okay.
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
No, it never took off.
Oh no, did they have a plan B?
They did have a plan B.
Oh.
They did have a plan B. They got permission from the state to put in a railroad line. And what that meant, the railroad line went straight to Ocean City. So now people could come from Baltimore on the steamboat, go to Claiborne, and then go to Ocean City. All kinds of people, it was much faster than all the other routes, and all kinds of people were now coming through Claiborne, but there was still a problem. The train station and the steamboat wharf were kind of set away from town.
Okay.
So people would get off the steamboat, get on the railroad, and nobody actually saw Claiborne. Kind of like
no.
Route 50 today. People racing to the beach on Friday and they don't pull over and see our little towns.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Are we up to number 3 yet?
Number 3?
3?
So it took off by accident?
Oh yeah. So in the 1920s and 10s and 20s, it actually did succeed and became kind of a nice little resort town with 4 or 5 hotels. But the way that started, do you know, present company excluded now, do you know how some people complain about their in-laws sometimes?
Sure, I've heard of that.
Guy from Claiborne marries a woman from Kent Island. Her name was Catherine Tunis. And she came from a big family. 11 siblings, 9 brothers. After they got married and settled in Claiborne, those brothers came to visit. They loved it. They came again. They came again. They brought their kids. They came again. And eventually, the couple said, I'm sorry, you're going to have to start paying for this. And they said, okay, we'll start paying for this. But that meant they could bring their friends, they could tell everybody else, and that was how the first resort in Claiborne formed, was because of annoying in-laws.
That's interesting. Okay. So this one is called Good Deeds.
Good deeds. Tuberculosis was a big problem, big and deadly problem back then, particularly in big cities, particularly with the African-American population. And this group called the Claiborne Fresh Air Association formed, and they brought 200 kids in every summer to spend 10 weeks getting fresh air and exercise, which was what doctors wanted for tuberculosis. And if you go to Claiborne today, you'll pass a street called Miracle House Road, and that was where that name comes from, was trying to help these poor kids have a healthy summer.
Interesting.
Okay, number 5. Unsavory character?
Captain Leslie. Captain Leslie sailed in on a pretty little yawl, and he was charming and debonair and kind. He used to take kids from Claiborne out on sailing trips on his yawl. He would also go off exploring by himself sometimes. He ended up breaking Claiborne's heart because he got arrested for robbing all these homes on all the other rivers nearby.
Oops.
Isn't that sad?
Oh no.
Yes.
All right then, well that brings us to number 6. Captain Leslie sails off to Hollywood.
What would a six-pack be without a Hollywood ending? Guy who was a regular visitor to Claiborne, Tristram Tupper, I think his name was. He knew about this Captain Leslie story, and he wrote about it, and he fictionalized it, made fights and villains and a happy ending and everything like that, and he got it published in the Saturday Evening Post. And a Hollywood producer picked that up, and the next thing you know, Gary Cooper and Fay Wray are coming to the Eastern Shore to film a movie called The First Kiss. It's been lost to history, but it seems to have been quite a big hit. Now, it's another one of those things where things didn't quite go the way they should have for Claiborne, because it should have been filmed in Claiborne. That's where it happened.
Sure.
But they filmed it in Easton and St. Michael's.
Oh, okay. All All right.
I could keep going. You want to do a 12-pack today?
No. I think six is
Six is
enough.
good? All right.
Six
all
is
right,
quite
all right.
enough.
I'll try to
Jim,
restrain myself.
Jim Duffy, Secrets of the Eastern Shore. Thank you so much.